when Austin wants to be the lead soloist, I say, I love it when you solo. So low that I can't hear it.
It's interesting because you're a big guitar collector, and 99% of the shows that you've ever done, you never stick to one guitar. And these two shows, you've literally stuck to one guitar the entire show.
Yeah. There's not a lot of room on this boat here.
Will you use that guitar with ZZ Top now too, going out, or then no, that gets put back on the rack, and then all the old, what you have comes back out?
I made the announcement, and Elwood said, absolutely not. Said there's only room for me.
With so many...
I take that back. Elwood said, let's try it. He was impressed with the show that we're presenting on board. Tonight is the closing night for everybody.
Yeah.
I believe we all disembark tomorrow.
All right. Well, you do?
Unless we Shanghai the boat. I say we go to Jamaica.
Why not? With such a large guitar collection, have you ever thought of following in the footsteps of your buddy Eric and Mark Knopfler recently by selling off some of the guitars?
Oh gosh, no.
Just curious.
Yeah. One's too many and 100 ain't enough.
And what about with Chuck recently, Charlene, Dusty's widow, they refer to her as Chuck, which I'm sure you all know. But Charlene, when she auctioned off a bunch of Dusty's belongings, was there anything that you wanted, or did she even approach you to say, would you like any of this stuff?
Oh gosh, I gave her a bunch of stuff.
Did you? You didn't need his stuff on top of your stuff.
She didn't know, but it was. I said, "Here, take this." Here.
Oh, good for you. So, got the tour with Lynyrd Skynyrd coming up. Talk to me about recording the last ZZ album with La Futura in 2012. There are tracks recorded with Dusty. There are tracks recorded with Elwood. You've said that the tracks with Dusty is a little more warmth because he plays with his fingers. So where are we on a future ZZ Top album?
Very good point. Someone said, "Gee whiz, ZZ Top's sound has remained the same." It's a slightly different in the fact that it's become perhaps a little more focused and sharper. Dusty, as most folks know, played with his fingers. Elwood, being a guitarist as well as a bass player, prefers to use a pick, which of course does make a little more sharp attack. It's an interesting difference to see everything contained in the same manner with kind of a exciting new sharpness.
Yeah. And
Frank, I don't know what he's doing.
But are there plans to get back in the studio to finish some of these recordings that you do have in the can?
If we could ever get off of this boat, which we're not, we're going to Jamaica.
All right, great story. You've told it before, but for the benefit of this crowd, great version of Foxy Lady by Jimi Hendrix. You knew the man, and he was a champion he championed your guitar playing and stuff. Can you tell us how you met Jimi Hendrix?
really have to?
It's a short version.
Before ZZ Top, I was heading up an outfit called the Moving Sidewalks. We had a nice phone call from the manager. Called up and this was a time when it was a big deal to start realizing there were groups from this place called England that were making big. The guy said, "Hey, we got a phone call. There's a group coming over and would like you to join the tour." And I said, "Who might that?" "Well, it's some group from England." "Whoa, English group. We get to join the English guys." "Well, who is it?" Some Jimmy someone. Well, I had a girlfriend living in London. She had sent me a copy of the Are You Experienced, the first Jimi Hendrix record, and it arrived before it had been released here in the States. Are we back in Are we out of international waters? Are we in the States yet?
No, we're not in the States. Don't worry.
Okay.
Whatever says on this boat stays on the boat, especially since we're going to Jamaica. So
Yeah. I'll go for that.
Yeah.
Jamaica. So we received this advance copy of Are You Experienced, and wow, we were so we played it for 4 hours. Played side A, played side B, but we agreed to join this tour with the Jimi Hendrix Experience, but it called for 40 minutes. We were so new to this thing, we only knew how to play about 30 minutes. But we had learned 2 Jimi Hendrix songs, which made it 40 minutes. Someone said, "You are kidding. You're not going to go out in front of Jimi Hendrix playing Jimi Hendrix songs." So, Foxy Lady in Purple Haze, yeah, we could do it. So, as we closed our section of the show, I remember looking off to the side, and in the shadows I saw a guy arms folded, kind of grimacing. And as we walked off, 2 arms grabbed me, spun me around, and it was Jimi Hendrix. He goes, "You got a lot of nerve. I like you. I want to get to know you."
And I know sadly we lost him very, very early on and stuff. But did you have a little bit of a relationship with him then thereafter?
Yeah. At the time, we were assigned night by night. We'd find ourselves. We were relegated to the end of the hall at the very last rooms on any given hotel. He was on the left, I was on the right. We were across the hall from each other, and his door was always open. He'd wave me, "Hey, come on in here. I got." He had two helpers that night by night they would bring in this record player. It was longer than this. I mean, it was a piece of furniture. But he said, "I need you to help me out. How do you think he did?" He was playing the first record by the Jeff Beck Group, trying to learn. I said, "Jimmy, you're telling me you want to learn what Jeff Beck? I guarantee you, Jeff Beck is trying to learn what you're doing."
Wow.
It was cool.
Yeah. And speaking of Jeff Beck, he was a buddy of yours,
Yeah.
a hot rod buddy.
Yeah.
It was shocking when we got the news, but you did get to go over and play at his tribute concert when your other buddy, Mr. Clapton, who is he still noted on your business card, by the way? Clapton?
Still have it.
Still have it? Yeah. And so he invited you over to take part. Now, what was that like going over to do that?
Well, to bring you up to speed, just as we were leaving to board the ship, we got a phone call from Jeff Beck's wife and his tour manager, Sean Hartman, and they said, "Gee whiz, we know that ZZ Top is going to go out. Would you have an interest in playing a song since you're playing, Jeff Beck's favorite ZZ Top song was Rough Boy. So we still play it. And they said it was Jeff's, and we had the opportunity to tour together.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget one of the first nights out, Jeff came into the dressing room and he said, Billy, said, could I join you for a number? I said, sure, Jeff, you want to come up and play one? He said, could you play Rough Boy? And I said, yeah, okay, why not? And in fact, if you can go on and YouTube has several clips of Jeff Beck joining us on performing Rough Boy, and they've insisted that I take Jeff Beck's guitar and play Rough Boy on his guitar, which I'm so thrilled to be able to accept that invitation to do it. It'll be cool.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Oh, great news. Glad I asked. All right, and as we get set to wrap up here, you now have a line of cigars out. Recently, that was announced.
Yes.
All right. Goes along with the hot sauce and the whiskey and the cowboy boots.
Now, how long have you and I been working together? Over a decade.
Oh yeah, it's going close to 30 years. Yeah, it's close. I remember one time he came in studio, him, Frank, and Dusty, and I guess they were going to go on tour, and I had them talking to a whole bunch of stations, and he loved it because he was in one studio, and from the one studio in New York, he spoke to Seattle and Boston and Philly and Pittsburgh, blah, 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 and he comes over to me afterwards and goes, seamless. This is the way to do it. Just one-stop shopping.
Well, you can help me out. This new line of cigars, I was invited to, it was one of the big distributors said, we've got an idea. We'd like to sell the Billy F Gibbons Twin Turbo. I said, what is that? It's two cigars in a nice package. I said, should the word, if it's two, does that mean it should be plural? Turbos or turbo? But then you've got the word twin, which already means two. But obviously they're not the guy was asking me, I said, you're not a hot rod guy. A turbo means two.
Yeah.
So for those of you, when you see the Billy F Gibbons Twin Turbo pack, you know you're getting two.
And like I said, you still do the hot sauce? Still do the hot sauce? Or?
The Whisker Bomb hot sauce, for those of you, anybody from Texas here? You may know the great grocery chain, H-E-B. They carry our hot sauce. Dollar General carries it.
Next to the cheap sunglasses, I got it.
It's on the cheap aisle. Whisker Bomb hot sauce.
Okay. And cowboy boots and whiskey. And here's one. This kind of went under the radar, but you are now a partner in a little club called the Wise River Club in Wise River, Montana, with a good friend of yours, Tim Montana, whose buddy Jay Crownover I play baseball with, so you talk about a small world, but here you are up in Montana at this little club, and you went up there too, to kind of, like almost like cut the ribbon or something to that effect.
Yeah, someone said, gee whiz, we've heard so many. Tim Montana, a real name, who is from Montana, go figure, Tim Montana. Someone said, how did you get to be a songwriting partner with this guy, Tim Montana? By the way, Tim Montana has the #2 song on the charts right now. The song is Devil You Know.
Yep.
I wish I'd written it. It's really, really great. But I've known Tim now since 2007, I believe, when the Boston Red Sox were in the World Series baseball game. the series, not just the game.
Yeah, the World Series.
They had not entered the series since 1933. And they finally, and these are the guys, you may remember, the Boston team vowed to quit shaving until they won the pennant. Right. And it was crazy. It was like, oh, these guys, they haven't been. So I remember we were traveling from Knoxville, Tennessee. We were on the way down to South Carolina, and a buddy of mine from back in Los Angeles, he said, hey, he said, I went by your house. It said, I see you're out, you're not home. I said, yeah, we're out on the road. He said, oh, I'd noticed. He said, you're going from Knoxville. Are you stopping in Nashville? And I said, yeah, we've got a 2-day break. He said, well, I've got a buddy. He's just starting a group called Tim Montana, and they're just starting a record. Maybe you could help them write a song. I said, it's my 2 days off. Who is this guy, Tim Montana? He said, yeah, he's got a band. I said, what are they called? He said, Tim Montana